Man, Moist Critical has had quite the week on YouTube. First, he recently got copyright claim by Taylor Swift's team because he showed some of her lyrics on screen of her new song and then he just read them out. He didn't even sing them, he just read them out. Then he recently said that he's going to be turning off all donations on his YouTube channel because he wants people to use that money on themselves and charities as opposed to using it on him. And then a day after he made that video about turning off donations, he is potentially going to be getting sued. He explains that he got a quote hefty envelope in the mail that had a lot of legal documentation from two YouTubers claiming that he violated their copyright. He infringed on their copyright. And basically what it involved was a live stream that Critical did during a hurricane in his area called Hurricane Milton. And he had briefly shown their content, and it is apparently grounds for them making some demands to him that he needs to do some stuff. And it was implied that they might be pursuing legal action against him. Now, I'm going to let Critical explain what happened himself, but before I do, I just want to let you guys know that I actually do have the responses of the two people that are potentially going to be suing him. So I'll play that at the end, but let's go ahead and listen to Critical's response first.
There are two YouTubers that believe I have stepped on their tootsies and infringed on their copyright. They are Reed Timmer and Brad Arnold. Now, I initially reached out to both of them because the language in this paperwork is very fishy. I'll get into that more in a moment, but I wanted to talk directly with them to see if this is like a scam or something. Like, I wanted to make sure this was like a legitimate thing before I got my lawyers on this. They haven't responded, so I'm guessing this is probably legitimate. Like, this is probably something they are actually trying to go through with, though I do know that there are a lot of law firms now that are trying to encroach in the space to convince YouTubers to go through copyright law to try and make money. I think there's a chance that maybe that's what's happening here and they don't know that, but since they didn't respond, I can't say for sure. So as of now, it feels legitimate, so I will be getting my lawyers on this, obviously, to be going through the next steps of this now most likely very long procedure. But let's go ahead and talk about what the claim is. So last year, during Hurricane Milton, I did a stream in the middle of Hurricane Milton. I'm in Tampa, and Hurricane Milton came through to spread our cheeks. I thought it would be a-okay to show very brief clips of what was happening with Milton so I could stay up to date, as well as, I guess, share with the audience who was asking, like, what's going on? Are you safe? What's happening? And one of the streams I pulled up was a Ryan Hall Y'all stream where he was showing a bunch of footage of Hurricane Milton, and one of the footage snippets, like one of the contributors, was Brad Arnold. You can see his footage there as one of the, on the scene, boots on the ground, reporters there. And I had that section there, that footage that included Brad Arnold's work there, on my stream for less than 30 seconds. Unless I missed another instance of it somewhere, it was present for less than 30 seconds. Though I did pause at one point, so if you count the pausing with the image of the footage there, it's a little longer, but I can't imagine a still image counts. If it does, then no bussy is safe, because that would just be fully Pandora's box wide open here.
So yeah, as Critical states, I mean, it was a hurricane that was happening in his area. All he wanted to do was make sure that he knew what was going on and to make sure that he and the other people that are living around his area are safe. So he went ahead and played this guy's live stream, Ryan Hall Y'all, where there was like a live reporter, Brad Arnold, there as well, giving updates about the hurricane. Now, Critical says that he only showed the footage for like maybe more than like 20 or 30 seconds, he says later in the video. And if that's enough to get someone, remember, this is not a copyright claim. This is not a copyright strike. This is an implied threat of legal action. It's some demand saying, hey, if you don't go ahead and meet our demands here, we might have to, pursue something here. So as Critical explained, a lot of law firms are doing something along the lines of this as almost kind of like a cheap way to make money. Like, hey, let's go ahead and drag these people into legal trouble so we can go ahead and get some money out of them. But yeah, basically it's a situation where it's very scary because Critical is a big YouTuber who can actually fight back in this type of situation. Now think about all the other content creators who had this guy's live stream pulled up at the time. Those law firms probably reached out to them too somehow, and are probably going to try to, make some demands or strike their videos. And, it's just weird. I mean, what is fair use and what isn't? I mean, I got this guy's stream pulled up just as kind of an experiment to see if anything's going to happen to me. I mean, let's see what happens, I guess.
Even this video would be in jeopardy then, because I did just show you a screenshot of that stream that had a still image from Brad Arnold's on the scene work. But it's just a picture, it's not moving or anything, and I have it here for 5 seconds. I guess we'll see. I think that would be really scary if that is now completely prohibitive and a potential copyright infringement. That would be very, very scary. Anyway, though, that's the extent of Brad Arnold's footage that entered into the Thunderdome of my hour-and-a-half long Hurricane Milton stream. So it was less than 30 seconds. I don't think that's an extensive period of time there, but I'll go ahead and let bygones be bygones on that and move on to Reed Timmer. Reed Timmer and Brad Arnold are both being represented by this firm, so it's a tag team here, a dynamic duo looking to double fist my butthole. Reed Timmer was on my stream for, I wrote these down because it was a couple times. 28 seconds the first time, where I showed some of Reed Timmer's, once again, on the scene footage. It was 28 seconds to see what was going on. And then once I showed that, Reed Timmer's fans came in my chat telling me that I should really check out his tank. He built like this really cool tank, and they really wanted me to see Reed Timmer's tank. So I went to his video that showed his tank, and I had that on screen in total for 1 minute and 10 seconds. I then skipped towards like more of the middle of the video to see the rockets, because everyone wanted me to see like the rockets he has on the tank. So I went there, and that was on screen for 25 seconds total. And then I just paused it, and I just had it as a still image there, so it was there for a bit longer as a still image, not the video playing or anything like that. So in total, less than 2 minutes was Reed Timmer's footage across 2 pieces of his content, one being a live stream and then the other being the tank that his fans really came in and wanted me to see. Now let's talk about the actual paperwork here. As I said, the language feels very fishy to me, and the lawyer that I had glance over it to take a peek also found it to be really, really weird. One of the first things that jumped out was they claim that I've used it in multiple instances, in multiple locations. They say that I unlicensed distributed their work in the following locations, and then it gives 2 links to a YouTube video. I said a YouTube video because they only have 1 YouTube video there. They list it twice. They do the same link twice, but then imply that I'd done it multiple times in multiple locations. So that's already weird. It's the Hurricane Milton stream. I am not familiar with Brad Arnold's work, nor Reed Timmer's. That was the only time I'd ever even heard of their names, was during the Hurricane Milton stream I did from, well, Reed Timmer's community, and then also just from trying to stay knowledgeable on what the fuck is happening with the natural disaster that's hitting my home. Like, that's the only time I was ever even heard of their names before, and what I put on stream of theirs was there for such a small amount of time, I thought there'd be no issue there at all. The paperwork goes on to, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the exact amount, but it goes on to say that they are potentially entitled to many tens of thousands of dollars per infraction. It makes a mention of damages that could get up to 6 figures, about me potentially posting their content on all of my other socials and my other websites, which is obviously not anything that happened. It was only during that stream for like sub 2 minutes. At least from what I can tell on the stream. Maybe I missed a couple instances, but it's not a long period of time at all.
So yeah, later in the video, he says that he's hoping that this is just a big misunderstanding. Maybe they don't even know that these papers have been served to him, and maybe they can just solve this peacefully without any sort of legal jargon going on. But it is crazy that you can have an hour and 26-minute long live stream, and in his own words, one creator where he basically just showed a screenshot of something, like some video footage of theirs, and the other one, Reed Timmer, he showed, he said somewhere around 2 minutes of footage, but it could have been more. He might have missed a few instances. Let's be generous and give it 5 minutes. 5 minutes of footage, and his stream doesn't get copyright claimed. He doesn't get copyright striked. He gets served demands for possibly, in his own words, tens of thousands, maybe even over $100,000 in damages for showing a few minutes of someone else's footage that they were live streaming. What? Like, where are we in YouTube copyright, right? But now let's get into some of their responses, right? So there's been a few text responses, and there's also been a few video responses. Now, if you guys remember that person that Critical mentioned earlier, Ryan Hall, y'all, that was the person whose stream Critical had originally pulled up, where that other guy, Brad Arnold, he was like one of the live reporters there. But he commented on this video, and he said, just to be clear, I'm not involved in this at all. Nobody on my end filed anything. I've got no problem with creators like Charlie showing parts of our stream when big weather stuff's happening. Some clips in our coverage come from individual chasers who manage their own rights, so that's outside my control. Hopefully this all gets handled amicably and everyone can move on. And yeah, as some people said in the comments, he should reach out to Critical himself. I know he left a comment. I don't know if Critical is going to read it though, but he should try to email him, make sure he sees this. Otherwise, Critical might think that Ryan Hall, you all might be participating in this somehow. So as for Brad Arnold, I couldn't find anything of him saying anything, but Reed Timmer, who is one of the people who is pursuing this action against Critical, he did make a Facebook post 5 hours ago saying, as part of a campaign against content theft on social media, it has come to my attention that a popular streamer named Charlie or Moist Critical was included in the latest wave of stolen content from our hurricane streams last year. I don't know Charlie or even that this happened. It sounds like he rebroadcast 30 seconds of our live stream for the purpose of letting people know what was happening. I am fine with this instance of rebroadcast by Charlie Penguin and will remove myself from any content lawsuit against Charlie. Next time, just ask for permission and I can clear it. We do have to push back against content theft in general in this social media space, most of which happens from traditional media since it makes it impossible to cover our science budget and expenses with the unoriginal content flags that result from stolen content that is rebroadcast. I would just have to stay in my basement and stream Radar Breakdown if we let all media steal and rebroadcast our content for profit. I am a lifelong break-even person financially or maybe a little loss, so this is not from a position of greed. Every cent I make goes back into storm chasing, science dominators, and disaster relief. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. We'll get into some other people's response to this, but just want to give a quick little response real quick. So Critical was involved in this latest wave of stolen content, as Reed puts it, right? So how about the other hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people that played your footage? Are they going to be involved in this sort of like legal demand situation, copyright infringement situation as well? They're smaller content creators who can't do anything about it. If it is true that people are able to just play your content for 30 seconds and then all of a sudden get into some type of trouble, this guy needs to make sure that whoever represents him does not let that happen, because if it does, then this is going to come across as him and Brad Arnold and whoever else silencing people who are trying to just, watch a little bit of their content. It is fair use to play 20 or 30 seconds of someone's footage, as long as you obviously put your own commentary in it and stuff like that. So that's just my response to it. Reed did leave a comment on this video that I'm trying to find right now, but some people are saying, that Reed is notorious for filing lawsuits. Apparently he doesn't have the best reputation in the storm chasing community. I've read a lot of Reddit posts saying that he is a little bit of a shady character, but this person put that Reed Timmer posted that he withdrew from the lawsuit, but also said this is part of a wave of copyright suits that he's sending out. If Charlie got hit with one randomly, then who else got hit with a copyright notice for using 30 seconds of a clip that doesn't have the resources Charlie has? This seems like a really malicious way to defend his property if he's just blindly firing out lawsuits notices to anyone who happens to use a couple seconds of his clips. I completely agree with this. This is exactly the point that I was trying to make. Imagine all those other content creators who don't have any type of influence that Critical does, and I guess they're just screwed. They can't do anything about it. I mean, Reed, if he is, let's just say for a second that Reed is totally benevolent and he's doing everything out of the goodness of his heart, whoever is representing him, he needs to not let them represent him anymore, because they are sending out stuff to people who have done nothing wrong. Now, along with the Facebook post, Reed has also posted a video where he has gone ahead and responded to Critical as well. He made a video about 2 hours ago called "I'm Not Suing Charlie," so let's go ahead and watch this and see what he says.
Hi, this is Storm Chaser Reed Timmer. I am right in the back of the Dominator 3. We are heading back toward Fort Smith, Arkansas, and I had some information that came up today. I found out that we flagged matching content with Charlie, Moist Critical on YouTube, and it was during our chase of Hurricane Milton when we were down to the south of Tampa covering that storm surge that was coming in. And a lot of times when we're storm chasing, our streams get stolen by media companies that are out there, and then it'll be claimed as their own. We'll get an unoriginality tag, and then it throttles our reach for that video for good. And we spend a lot of resources on the Dominator 3 and our storm chases, driving all across the country 100,000 miles, and our science mission, launching rockets into these tornadoes and deploying storm surge sensors. So everything that comes in goes into our science mission, storm chasing, and disaster relief after the storm. We now have the Team Dominator Search and Recovery Group as well, storm recovery out there for after the storm. But when we were out there chasing Hurricane Milton, Charlie was down in Tampa running a stream as well, and he used some clips from our live stream to let people know what was going on. And he also used some of my clips from Hurricane Ian previously, and even said that I had divorced dad energy, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. So I have enjoyed his content over the years, but I wasn't aware of this content match, or that a lawsuit was going to be filed, and a lawsuit actually hasn't been filed from that, but I have removed myself from that content match as well, because I encourage, in this case, Charlie, for using that short clip to let people know about the hurricane that was happening out there. I do have a firm that represents us for content theft, going after people that just take our videos and then upload them. And a lot of these are big media companies as well. But in this case, I was not aware that Charlie was caught up in this push against content theft. And I did find out about that just in the back of the Dominator here after our last event up in Illinois. And we're monitoring some storm chases, it looks like, next week. But I did see that Charlie reached out through Twitter 2 days ago, but it was in my unsent messages. I never checked that. There's a lot of bots in there on Twitter, and I'm in the middle of this speaking tour right now, so I never saw the message that came in, but I did just check my unread messages, the message request section, and replied to Charlie and told him that I'm dropping myself from that content match or any potential lawsuit that might be coming toward him from Hurricane Milton. And yeah, I'm okay with that live stream being used in that case with Charlie, but we do have to push back against content theft in general.
So as you guys heard in the video, basically says everything's all good. He does not want to sue Charlie or pursue this at all. He removed himself from the potential lawsuit. And he said that his law firm has actually been going after people who have been doing similar things, like using their content, stuff like that. I definitely agree with a lot of the comments that have been written over here. Like this person saying that he should consider reviewing everyone that the firm flagged for content theft and sent notices to. But yeah, this just seems like a really weird situation though. I mean, it really sounds like he shouldn't be with the law firm that he's with if he truly feels this way, because it sounds like they're just sending people documentation willy-nilly, you know, just using for a few seconds of footage. I'm sure there were so many people who reposted some of his Hurricane Milton footage around that time, because that hurricane was a big deal, especially for everybody in Florida. So as this person says, yeah, so what, a lot of smaller creators are now just like going to be in their crosshairs. I mean, it's just a really worrying situation. Internet Anarchist, which is another big YouTuber, actually replied to this. If Charlie randomly got caught in this wave of lawsuits and copyright claims, imagine how many smaller content creators with no legal backing or public reach are being hit for using 30 seconds or less of footage. This approach feels careless and destructive to the entire creator ecosystem. I mean, yeah, to be honest, this kind of checks out with everything that I've read about this Reed guy, where it seems that he just, you know, files frivolous lawsuits and, you know, legal demands against people for any type of content use at all. And like I said, to be fair, it could just be his law firm and not him. But at a certain point, I mean, you are representative of the people representing you as well. I mean, if that law firm is so shitty, you need to get rid of them. But yeah, this is a longer video with a lot of details, but let me know what you guys think about the situation in the comments. If Critical makes some sort of update, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But yeah, this is a very, very interesting conversation about fair use and copyright. If you are using a few minutes of someone else's footage and you're making it transformative, not only should you not be copyright claimed or striked, you certainly shouldn't be served some sort of legal documentation implying that there will be some action taken against you. But yeah, let me know what you guys' thoughts are on the situation in the comments. Please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more. See ya.